when we start to make our happiness depend on the physical stuff, on the physical side of things, I think we always find ourselves not fulfilled in the end because we are not physical beings. So none of this physical shit will ever give us happiness. It's always the internal shit that gives us happiness. It's always what's deeper. It's always what's more in the inside. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the New Era Mindset. So glad you guys are here today. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's, unless you guys are not like me and you still live under a rock, then I don't see why you wouldn't see a lot of the new tech that's being developed, right? But I mean, we are exposed to it. We see it on social media. We see it on YouTube. We see it wherever we go. We see an ad or something about a new phone, new car, homes with, smart homes, or I don't know, new technology, right? New features on shit. Like we see it, and I'm sure that you guys see it. But my thing is, like, every time we see this new thing, especially like when we have the previous version of it or whatever, like, and then they bring up a new item or a new version of that item that you have, that object that you have, and you're like, fuck man, that new version of it has this feature and mine doesn't. I want that. I really want it. Or maybe you have an older car, right? And now this newer version of it that they came up with is able to just fucking open the door on its own while you are barely approaching that car. You're gonna be like, fuck, my version of it doesn't do that. I want it. I want to go for it. There's a lot of people chasing physical objects out here. You want to buy this fucking badass car. You want to own a Lamborghini, right? You want to own the very brand new phone. You want to own, like, all these, not just that, right? But other objects that you want. And I think that's all right. I think it's okay to want all this crap. I think it's okay to want all these things, right? I have literally no problem with that. I think the issue comes in, though, when you start to let those things be the thing that determine whether you're happy or not. I think that's where you need to be careful, right? Wanting them is not bad at all. I really don't think so. Okay? It's about how you determine what makes you happy, right? Objects can't make you happy. Objects themselves won't make you feel, well, they might make you happy for some time, but they won't make you feel fulfilled. Okay. And I think I have a theory as to why. I mean, when you see out there, when you look at people, especially people in the music industry, right? They have all these things. They're flashy, and, like, they have all these cars, they have these women, they have these fucking houses, and all that shit, right? Well, a lot of them come to a point in their lives where they realize they're not happy with what they've accomplished, right? And it's not the same thing to accomplish something than to be fulfilled by something. It's not the same, right? Accomplishing shit in life and being fulfilled in life are two separate things, two completely separate things. All right. You could find fulfillment in the things you accomplish, depending on what you accomplish. All right. But accomplishing to buy a car isn't necessarily what's going to make you feel fulfilled. All right. And I have a perfect theory for this. Okay. Maybe weird a little bit, but it's my belief. And if my belief fits you, fucking awesome. That's cool. And if not, it's all good too, But yeah. So, as you see, so a lot of the celebrities, they'll even take some time off of music and then they come back and they say, nah, I wasn't in a good spot. I was fucking feeling miserable. I hated my life. I have all this success and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And, like, then they come back and they start to do interviews, and they are talking to people about how they now feel and how they're coming back with, a different mindset, and they're coming back with, this type of music. I mean, still around their shit, right, and stuff, but oftentimes when this happens, they'll throw in some songs that talk about, like, their change and shit like that, right? And that's because they have realized that all this physical shit, all this success that they've had in the music industry, and this is not just to music industry, all right, but other shit as well, other industries as well that have extreme success like that, they get lost in it. They get lost in the physical side of it. They get lost in all that stuff, and they don't take care of their internal being. Okay. The reason, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason I think that this happens so much, where you see people breaking down because they are not happy with where they are, even though they have this massive success, is because just they have maybe consciously or unconsciously let the physical objects, physical items that they have, or their physical success, right? They let that determine how happy they are. Okay. And that is empty happiness. It's not real happiness. Okay. We are internal beings. We are not physical. We are not like this whole physical world. To the way I see it is just an experience. Okay, it's just an experience, but like we are experiencing this physical world as it is right now, but we ourselves are not physical beings. We are non-physical beings. I don't know what you would call that. um you could call it non-physical being, or you can call it spiritual being, however you want to define that, right? But the main point is that we are not physical beings. So therefore, when we try to come to this experience of life and we start to chase physical things and chase happiness behind having a bigger house, having a better car, having the better phone, when we start to um, make the things that make us happy be the things like, maybe surgery, or like all this physical stuff, right? When we start to make our happiness depend on the physical stuff, on the physical side of things, I think we always find ourselves not fulfilled in the end, because we are not physical beings. So none of this physical shit will ever give us happiness. It's always the internal shit that gives us happiness. It's always what's deeper. It's always what's more in the inside, not really what's on the outside. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love this phone. And like I said, I want all this physical shit too. But the way I see it is, look, I'm right now experiencing this life, this physical life, and I'm here. And I'm gonna take advantage of it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take advantage of this part of my existence as a being, and gonna take advantage of what's being developed. If I see something and I have the money to get it, I will, and I like it, I will get it. And for example, me, I want a Tesla. I don't have a fucking new car right now. My car is a 2010 car, which is the newest car I've ever had, actually, if I'm honest, right? But I want a Tesla. I'm not there yet, but I'll get it. I'll get it when I get there. But it's not what's going to make me happy. It's just like I see it and I'm like, this is where technology is going. I'm going to use it and it's all good. But in the end, what makes me happy is the connections, the people I meet, the interacting with other beings out here, especially with the more high-minded people. Like, there's something about conversating with people um, that have a positive mindset, a growth mindset, or that think out of the box. Like, conversating with these people just calls me, and it just fascinates me, right? Having a new way to look at shit. Like, I love that stuff. So that really feeds my internal being. It really does, because there's nothing physical about it. It's just two people that are non-physical beings using this physical world to interact with each other. That's the way I see it, and that is really where I find the happiness. Um, the helping other people, doing other shit for others and shit like that. That is happiness, and there's nothing physical that I'm getting about, like, from that. The physical things. It's not necessarily what makes you happy. It's not. And every time that you chase happiness behind the physical shit that you have, you will always end up being miserable. And that's because you're not a physical being yourself. And I think the sooner you understand that you're not physical and you start to focus on that and say, I'm going to use my shit. Like I'm going to use this world and whatever it's developing and the technology, right? I'm going to use it. For example, like, you're going to tell me that new shit that you just fucking invented is going to tell me, it's going to free me from taking the time to do this shit here, and I can just set the settings on there and it'll do it by itself. Cool. use the physical shit for that. Okay, use the physical shit so you can free yourself time for some time, so that you can have the time to do the shit that actually makes the inner you happy. Okay, and that is how I pursue, or how I see, going after physical things, but not for happiness. Never do it for happiness. Never ever search physical shit, or um, let the desire to have the new products, or these, the new technology and all that stuff. Never let the desire to have that stuff determine how happy you are, because it's false happiness. It's an it's empty joy that is gone. It's like, I'm gonna tell you something. When I get on my phone, and if I just start searching that shit, like just looking at videos, and that's all I do, right? Like, I'm not necessarily gaining information, right? See, like, I could use the phone and I can gain information, and then I feed my mind certain things that I'm using something physical to take care of the non-physical part of me, right? I don't feel so bad when I do that, but sometimes when I'm on my phone, and I could, like, if I spend 10 minutes and just looked at something that didn't necessarily uh, give me value in one way or another, I don't feel so good. I feel like I just wasted my time. I feel like it just doesn't feel right. Okay, but I bet you right now that I'm gonna be done with this episode here, and once I click okay, stop recording or whatever, right? I'm gonna be like, okay, I did it. And yes, I used the physical camera, I used the physical mic, right? But at the same time, the message that I'm sending to you guys is not physical, and you guys will receive this, and hopefully embody this, so that you guys don't chase that false dream of having a bunch of things that don't necessarily make you happy, right? But I'm using this physical world to give you guys a good message, something good, and that is not physical. So I will walk out of here feeling fucking great, because I just did something that it made my soul happy. And I think that if people can understand this and like embody this, then they will feel the same way when they are now chasing a dream that is in line with their non-physical being. Okay, I find that to be amazing, because it's a lot easier to gain happiness for your internal being than it is with physical, like, than it is being happy in this physical thing, like the physical side of things. It's easier to find happiness in the non-physical stuff. I really think that's true. People just have the wrong focus. People focus on the wrong thing. They think that because we live in this physical world, we have to have all this physical shit to be happy, and that's not the case. Again, it's cool if you want it, but it's not to be making you happy. It's maybe this shit, like, we got it, we could use it to free ourselves from spending so much time doing shit that isn't necessarily feeding happiness to our inner being, and make time so that maybe we can get out there and be with ourselves, meditate out in the woods, a walk for at the beach with some nice sunlight and that kind of stuff. Just being with your thoughts, or interacting with other people. That really is what fuels and what feeds your spiritual being. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll start feeling happy, because you'll realize that none of this shit really makes you happy. None of this physical stuff really makes you happy. It's that other side of things. It's that part of things that we don't see. Like, we don't see it, but we could feel it. Okay? We don't see it, we could feel it. And that side of things, when you start to really be aware of what makes that the non-physical you happy, then is when real happiness starts to kick in. And I gotta tell you, the reason why I feel so happy now and so joyful and even fulfilled now, even though I haven't, like, I'm not gonna lie, okay, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm already feeling fulfilled. And that's because I'm in line with what I want to do, and the physical shit will come. Yes, I'm gonna adapt or adopt all, new technology into my life and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna use that, right? But the fact that and that's gonna come on the side. The fact that I'm doing all this by doing something that makes my inner being happy, that is what keeps me feeling fulfilled every day, because I'm not I'm not worried about this physical thing. I'm not worried about this physical thing. I'm not. And I I separate myself a lot from this physical world even more now. I feel the separation of I feel like I'm separating more and more from it, right? And that gives me freedom. Like, I step back and I look at all this that exists, all this physical stuff, and I'm like, that's that that's that's not me, right? Like, all this physical stuff, it's not me. Like, I could come into this world and use it, but it's like it's a different side of things, and I feel that. But that gives me freedom. That gives me freedom because now I feel like happiness is really, um I mean, it's really here. Like, happiness is really here. It's in you, right? It's in you all the time. You just gotta realize it and start working towards the things that make your inner self happy. I know, I feel like sometimes I don't make sense when I talk about this, right? But I can feel it very strong. That feeling is strong. And I really feel the I feel the difference between the physical and the non-physical. At least the non-physical me, right? I'm not going to say the non-physical world, cuz I have no fucking clue what that is. But the non-physical me is separate from what's physical. It's separate from the body, it's separate from the cars, from the house, tables, um camera, mics, all this stuff. It's separate, right? And that me, that inner me, doesn't necessarily find happiness from the objects, the items. Even though I desire them, even though I want them, even though I want to own. I mean, this shit is dope, man. The fucking technology that's developing now, it's dope. You can't not want this stuff. But you do have to really be in line with the you, the inner you, so that you don't start to chase the dream of a celebrity who is getting big paychecks. So now they're spending it on girls and and just luxury hotels and cars, and yeah, they're happy at the moment, but then we see it time and time again. They break down and they realize that that's not what gave them happiness. They dig deep in and they find their inner being, and they realize it. Then they realize that all the stuff that they have is not making them happy. And the reason why is because you're not a physical being. If you're not a physical being, you can't be happy, or like, if you're not a physical being, these physical things aren't what are going to give you happiness. It's just not. You have to dig deeper. And when you dig deeper, that's when you find the real happiness. You find the real things that make you happy, and you realize that. And this was beautiful about it too. When you find that the physical thing doesn't make you happy, it allows you to want it without allowing those objects to be the thing that determine your happiness. And that's beautiful. That's freedom. That's freedom in this whole physical world. Because now you're like, I'm going to just work on myself. I'm going to just work on me. I'm going to just do what makes me happy. And you realize that when you start getting in line with that, things start to get in line with you. And you end up having the physical. Then you're happy. And you get to enjoy the physical items. Well, I'll leave you guys with that on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, leave a comment down below if there's anything you want to say. Subscribe to this channel if you are enjoying the content and if you find value in it. And also hit that bell to get notified when we upload another video. That way you can keep learning, keep growing. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you all. Take care. Bye.